couple of years ago, I shared my very sad experience with vitamin D drops. Enfamil D3 liquid vitamin D supplement for infants. Never give this to your baby. It's a harmful, toxic product, sample of which I received from my baby's pediatrician. The doctor told me that the only thing that breast milk doesn't have is vitamin D and gave me the Enfamil sample so I can give it to my baby as soon as possible. Usually I would read reviews on every product my family or me uses, but being a first-time mom, lack of sleep, postpartum recovery made me skip this step. After all, the pediatrician gave it to me, right? The second drop was enough to make my baby extra fussy because all of the gases she got in her tiny tummy. In about 12 hours after, I started to see blood in her stool. And I'm not talking about a little streak, I mean a good amount that cannot be unnoticed. I didn't know what to blame it on. I remembered that bloody stool is a symptom of the food allergy, but as you know, I quit dairy, which is the biggest allergen, so we started to Google. A quick research showed that the blood in the stool can be a reaction on the vitamin D supplement, and that made sense because it was the only new thing she got. My husband decided to read reviews on the Enfamil product, and they appeared to be horrible. Many parents wrote that this supplement made their babies extremely fussy, miserable and bloated. Also, this product has artificial flavors and colors. After that, I started wondering a lot about vitamin D and breast milk. Do they even need vitamin D? Breast milk has vitamin D when the mom is not deficient. Vitamin D is vital. It's super important. If the baby is deficient on vitamin D, it's bad news. The recommendation to give all the babies 400 international units of vitamin D every day as a supplement are for an average American mom who eats average American diet. So because our lifestyle has changed and as humans we don't spend as much time outside and we don't get enough exposure to the sun, especially in the northern states, because we do put lots of sunscreen. And when we talk about diet, average American diet does not have lots of vitamin D. Even though there are fortified foods like milk and even orange juice, it's still not enough. And most of the American moms are deficient in vitamin D, meaning they can't extract it in their milk. So there are two different ways you can make sure your baby gets that vitamin D. Well, first, you indeed can give your baby a supplement because most probably you are deficient, but we don't know that, right? So there are ways you could find out, are you deficient or not? There are tests that could be done even at home, and you could ask your physician to order a test for you, but unfortunately it's not a common thing. Most of us don't even know our levels. Apparently this is not a routine thing to check your vitamin D. You yourself can take 6,400 international units of vitamin D supplements so that you can produce enough vitamin D in your milk. There was a study that proved that this is the case, but also if you live in a sunny state, as I do, for example, I live in South Carolina, I do try to get outside, although it still does not mean that I get enough of vitamin D because there have to be like a certain angle of the sun touching your skin and stuff like that. And my skin tone is lighter, so that means my skin is able to take more of vitamin D. I don't know if I'm deficient. I would guess that I'm not terribly deficient because of those two things that I just mentioned, but I do try to replenish my body with vitamins. I do take regular prenatal vitamins. I will leave the ones I take down below, but also I try to get my vitamin D from foods. And the best way to get vitamin D is eating fish such as salmon, sardines, which I like. Also, egg yolks have a ton of vitamin D, so all of those foods, if you eat enough of them, let's say if you eat 2 servings of fish a week, should be enough to have normal levels of vitamin D. Also, if you go outside and if you do have lighter skin tone. But if you're a breastfeeding mom, like I said, if you are not doing a test, are you deficient or not, it's better to stay on the safe side and do give your baby a supplement of course, discuss this with your pediatrician before. Don't take my words as an advice. Ask your baby's doctor. But also the other way to go about it is you could just take a supplement of 6,400 IU, international units of vitamin D, and the study says that you should be good to go. Your body will be producing that amount of vitamin D in the milk that your baby needs. I personally apply 1 drop of my vitamin D on my breast when I feed him. It's hard to keep up with it, honestly, especially when you're a mom of 2. So that's why, because sometimes I forget to give it to him daily, I do try to keep my body replenished with vitamin D so that maybe my milk has some as well. Also, when your baby grows, you can continue applying these vitamin D drops on their foods if it's easier and better for you. Just 1 drop until they are like 1 year old. After that, I think the dose can be increased. Your breast milk can have vitamin D if you are not deficient, but most of us are, so make sure to give your baby a good vitamin D supplement. And don't forget about your own health. And if you're curious how to pick the best vitamin D for your baby, I have a video about it. Are you on the market for some infant vitamin D drops? Then stay tuned, because I'll compare the ones that did not work for us with the ones that actually worked well. They are like day and night. I'll explain why, and I'll share my tips on how to find the best vitamin D for your baby. So the product that caused us all the pain is Enfamil D3. So now let's take a look at the ingredients, because if you know me, you know that I preach about reading the ingredients on everything that goes to your baby's body, because they're so pure and new, and you want to give them a good start for their health, and especially when it comes to newborns, they're so sensitive. It has glycerin, water, polysorbate 80, citric acid, natural flavor, and sodium citrate. 6 other ingredients, you guys. 6. No other product has this many. It has low quality preservatives and these freaking natural flavors. You probably know how I feel about natural flavors. It's a different word for artificial flavors. You guys, for a newborn, their tummies are so sensitive, and there is no wonder why my baby had such a reaction, and as well as many other babies, as I found out after reading reviews, had a horrible reaction to this product. Now here is the supplement I used for my baby. Ta-da! This is called D drops. Baby D drops, vitamin D, liquid vitamin D, the brand called D drops. So the only other ingredient in this supplement is fractionated coconut oil, and that's it. And in my opinion, okay, it's my opinion, this is the cleanest infant baby D drops, not D drops, vitamin D drops, right, on the market. There are many other decent options, but I picked this one and they worked great for my baby. We had no issues whatsoever, but be careful. If this worked for my baby, does not necessarily mean it will work for yours. If you decide to try this or any other vitamin D, watch your baby for the next couple of days, a few days. Don't introduce anything new to your baby or to your diet, because I assume you're breastfeeding, and that means that your baby can have a reaction to a new food in your diet, and then you would think, oh, maybe it's my food, or maybe it's the vitamin D. So make sure you watch your baby closely, don't introduce anything new, and then you can tell if it works for your baby or not. Like I said, there are quite a few other pretty decent, pretty clean options of vitamin D drops for babies on the market. In case this one, the one we've been using, does not work for your baby, then you can try something else, but I won't mention any names here because I haven't tried any other vitamin D except of Enfamil and D drops. So that's why the only thing I want to say is that some of them have sunflower oil, which is not very good in my opinion, again, because it's highly inflammatory, it's processed and highly refined. But again, if we compare it to Enfamil other ingredients, it's much better. Let's say if you have in the other ingredients of your vitamin D sunflower oil, and let's say some preservative like vitamin E or like rosemary extract, is so much better than what Enfamil offers. So here is my tips on how to pick the best vitamin D supplement for your baby. And the first one, despite my story, consult with your doctor. Yes, I think it's still important because especially what you need to ask is the dose. How many drops of the product you'll pick your baby needs? How many IU your product have to have international units? So for example, this one has 400 international units. You need to make sure about that. But never blindly take the recommendation of your doctor about the specific brand of vitamin D drops or anything at all, actually. Second, again, read the ingredients. It's so important, you guys. The general rule of thumb is the less ingredients, the better, and if you can't pronounce it, stay away from it. So make sure you try to pick the cleanest, the healthiest option, and it should be just straightforward. Like I said, the ones that work for us has straightforward coconut oil. I think it's healthy. There is just nothing better I've seen in the other ingredients in vitamin D drops on the market right now. Third, read the reviews. If for some reason you feel like reading the ingredient list, understanding it is a little hard for you, just go online and read the reviews. Guys, if I would have read the reviews about Enfamil, if I would have just read those reviews, they are horrible. Fourth, as I already said, watch your baby for a couple of days, for a few days. Do not introduce anything new in your diet, in your baby's diet. Even before you start giving the vitamin D, maybe a couple of days before, don't introduce anything new. Definitely don't give multiple supplements to your baby at once, and watch your baby, watch the reaction, watch the behavior. What works for one baby will not necessarily work for the other. And if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them for me in the comments below. If this video was helpful, make sure to give it a big like, subscribe to my channel, watch more videos of mine, and I'll see you next week. Bye.